Hello guys, happy Sunday. So today I woke up in the mood for Mandazi and Githeri. So I decided to get ready and just prep them myself. So if you want to know how I made them, tag along and let's do this. So you're looking at the ingredients for Githeri. That's cowpeas and corn. I'm using white corn. There's a lady here who sells white corn. So if you need soft githeri using white corn, let me know and I will hook you up. And then I got these cowpeas from a Mexican store in Brockton. So you pretty much mix this up. I like cowpeas. They remind me of Kenya because that's a common food from where I come from. So over here I'm mixing the corn and the peas. Just mix them well, and then I'll proceed to wash them. So you wash them just like everything else. Make sure they are clean. I wash them 3 times, the same way I wash rice, 3 times, just to make sure any mess is gone and gone. And then I'll strain, make sure all the water comes out, and just any other corn or peas that's floating, I want it to not to be left behind. So I'll try to remove as much as I can. And then you get a pot, put water, put your githeri mixture in there, and you start boiling. So the soft one takes around 45 minutes to an hour. So you just need to add enough water though to make sure it doesn't stick to the pot, so it doesn't burn. Add water, make sure it's enough to where, not too much to where it's going to pour once it starts boiling, because it can boil over so easily. So make sure you have enough, just enough. And then I usually, this is just something I personally do. I don't know if everyone else does that, but I'll mix them up before I boil, and then I'll try to, I get a small sieve and I'll remove anything that's floating. I usually believe that anything that's floating, maybe it's not good quality, so I just take them out. Anyway, so I'm cooking. It's morning here, so I'm having waffles as well as my githeri boils. That I like my Kenyan tea and waffles, and I put some butter, and the stuff is very, very yummy. I also like to add blueberries, and I'll eat them like a sandwich. I know that's weird, but that's just how I prefer them. Little sandwich, and it's nice and chewy and very yummy. So back to my githeri, it's boiling. So it continues to boil, and again, you can only tell by tasting it to see if it's soft enough. But for me, I usually time it for 45 minutes to an hour. I think it's usually ready by then. So now the githeri is done. The next step will be frying it. Some people don't fry it, but I prefer frying it. So I'll use onions, I'll use cilantro, I'll use tomatoes and any other ingredients that you want to put in. So I did not have tomatoes and I was too lazy to go to the store. So I will be using tomato paste, which it's my default. I'm not a fan of it, but that's what I have at the moment. So I will use tomato paste. So like everything else, you wash your ingredients, you wash your onions, and then you chop them, as well as your cilantro. You chop them into small pieces like you're seeing over there. But then again, it's a preference. Some people like to chop them a little bigger than that. Then after that, you get a pot. You add your onions in there. And you add some cooking oil. The cooking oil, I don't measure. It's just an estimate. I'll just dump what I think is enough. It depends with how much githeri you're frying. After that, I'll wait for it to brown. I'll mix it, continue mixing until it browns. And then at the same time, I will add any other ingredients that I need. Like I'll add the tomato paste at this time. This is when I add it. I'll add any spices that I want to add. Like I like chili, so I'll add it at this time. Yeah, so whatever else you need to add depends with what taste you prefer. And then at the end, when everything has been added, I'll add my cilantro. That's the last step. The cilantro, I don't cook it. I just add, mix, and I call it a day. It's winter time over here, so the snow is thawing. It's quite cold. So it's good to have comfort food. So I decided to make some mandazi. That's a big comfort food. So for ingredients, I used 3 cups of flour. I used half cup of sugar. I used, I think, a teaspoon of salt. I did half cup of milk and an egg. I usually add just 1 egg, but then that's a preference. If you want to add a little bit, maybe 2 eggs, it's really up to you, but I prefer 1 egg. And then I'll add butter. Whatever butter you want, whether it's plant-based, whether it's animal-based, it's really up to you and your dietary needs. And then I'll mix them up. I'll add vanilla, the vanilla seed, the liquid. I'll add that in there, and then I'll mix them. I'll mix the wet ingredients together, and just make sure they are completely mixed. So, and that will give your mandazi a good taste distribution. And then again, the dry ingredients, I'll mix those together as well. And then I take the dry ingredients and add them to the wet ingredients. And then I'll start kneading. Now, before I start kneading, actually, I'll let my dough sit for like 10 minutes. And then I'll cut it into 4 little pieces, like you're seeing in the video. And then after cutting them, you spread them the same way you spread chapati. Like you want to make chapati, but it's not really chapati. And then you cut them into small pieces, as you prefer. Mine not very even. Some are usually big, some are smaller, but I'm slowly learning the craft. So yeah, what you're seeing here is now the raw mandazi before I make them. After that, I'll get oil. You heat some oil, and then you start putting your little mandazis over there. So you cook them until they brown. After they brown, you turn them around on the other side. You brown them as well. It's usually maybe 4 minutes, not even. It's less than 4 minutes, and then you take them out. You see the little one that I have there? That's the one I start with, just to make sure that the oil is nice and ready for cooking. So it's a good way to cut a small piece to kind of experiment before you dive in with your main mandazis. So then I'll continue with that process until all the mandazis are made. And yeah, it's not, looking at mandazis, you think it's complicated, but it's not really complicated. But I get it's just it's about the ratios and how you mix your ingredients and how you knead your dough, little details like that. But I think it's way easier than making chapatis, if you ask me. So yeah, I continue cooking, and I'll just let you guys see the end product. That's the end product. Those are the mandazis. Very nicely done. Brown. Yeah, that's it.